guess where I'm going? I think you know that when I am together with all our segregated items, I'm going to Brixton Street in Pasig City. Okay, but that's beside the point. Why am I so excited for today? Our topic for today is really a little bit, amazing as the usual. Because it's about, a contemplation of whether if we know how to judge between good or bad, right or left, up or down, performing or not performing, fake news or not fake news, corrupt or not corrupt. Are we aware of that? Okay, let me just drive a bit and I'll see you guys in a moment. So I'm back and I'm going to Pasig, as I have mentioned. But while, we're on our way to Pasig, I'm going to ask you some of these questions that I have asked. If you know all the difference between good and bad and, up or down, left or right, these are the opposites. And I'm going to focus more on the opposites because these days I have been observing that people have a little bit of a hard time having this delineation or the line between good and bad, what's fake news and not fake news. They're having a hard time determining who's a better leader and not a better leader. And before, I used to think about why it is so. And as time went by, especially this pandemic, it's still a little bit pandemic, but not like super pandemic. People easily, believes about news that they see in social media. So, I'm thinking, how are you going to differentiate between good leaders and bad leaders, good situation and bad situation? These are questions that we need to ask every day because these are decisions that we need to make. So, let me just drive again a bit and let's chit chat in a moment. Guys, knowing the difference between what I have mentioned earlier, knowing between good or bad, up or down, left or right, good leaders versus bad performing leaders, will actually help us, in the decisions that we're going to do or to make in terms of what you're going to do in the next steps. Because if you don't have that kind of mental framework, that kind of discernment to understand and see the difference between good and bad situation,
turn left on 190.
Sorry, that's my
then
ways.
Continue straight.
Good or bad situation, or good or bad leaders, then you can easily be fooled. And one of the things that I'm actually teaching when I do coaching, when I do mentoring, is that you should have set standards in terms of what kind of lifestyle, what kind of leaders, what kind of people, what kind of situation I would like to be in. In my previous vlog, I actually asked you guys, are you happy? And this time, my question to you guys is, do you know the difference between good or bad? If you lack discernment, and that's the continuation of what I'm talking about, since we're stopped, so it's okay. If you lack discernment, if you lack that kind of capability of putting up your standards in front of you, so that's where you wanted to follow. I'll give you an example, okay? I'll give you one grand example. For example, you wanted to buy a certain type of clothes. You know what you want. You know what you want should be, let's say, if that's what you want, okay, decent, and something not revealing, and maybe color black, minimalist, not so much, flaunting of designs, beautiful, simple. That's what you want, okay? A standard is equivalent to what is morally or socially acceptable. For example, again, let's go back to the clothes. If the clothes that you wanted to buy is something like, so revealing and really flaunting all your flesh, then in our society, it might not be accepted. Now, when I say not accepted, there are standards that we set in order for us to follow. And that is very important for us to look at and see if these standards are compensatory to how we are going to be, at the end of the day. And when I say compensate, I'm not talking about, I'm not talking about anything that is monetary. It means like, will it compensate the respect that we wanted to have in case we are going to buy a very revealing clothes? I'm talking about clothes. I'm going to give you a live example. Now, while we're on stop, what if I give you an example of a situation? For example, if you know that a leader is corrupt, that a leader is greedy, that a leader may want confidential funds just for herself, that's why it's confidential. Aren't you going to create a seed of doubt in your head, in your heart, in your whole system as a human being, when in fact, the country right now is suffering from economic sabotage by the people up there, and we're still going to praise them? So these are the questions I'm asking you, because I need you guys to check the kind of standards that you have as a human being. Is it something that you will just praise because of a known name? I don't think so. I don't really think so. Okay, now we're slowing down again, and I'd like to give you another example. What if not a leader, just a person, okay? The person is somebody who's stealing, somebody has a little bit of a shady behavior.
In 300 meters,
okay,
turn right.
Would you still be hanging out with this person? If you're a mom and if you're a dad and your children is, let's say, hanging out with some, petty thieves, like those who steals candy bars in stores, those who steals, little stuff from other people. Do you want your children to hang out with this kind of little petty thieves? And you can answer me, yes, it's okay. I know my children. You can answer me, no, I don't like, because I don't like to,
right,
my children to have
bridge.
Influence from these little petty thieves. But that's your standard. The standard is, do not let your children hang out with this kind of people. That's the standard. Now, I'm only talking about petty thieves and your children. What if you know that the person I'm talking about, let's say, is a president of a company, is a leader of an organization, is a president of a country? Are you still going to believe this person? It's like
in 500 meters,
simple,
turn right on Brixton.
Simple way of discerning. And I hope you're not gonna say it's okay. He will change, because he won't. That kind of personality and behavior
In
will not
300
change.
meters, turn right.
Okay? I'm near, so check on this.